Today, we're jumping into the messy, complicated, but really beautiful world of modern relationships. We're going to unpack 5 super powerful principles for building connections that are deeper and can actually last, all based on some amazing expert insights. All right, let's get into it.
You know, it's the biggest contradiction of our time, isn't it? We've got all these apps, all these ways to connect, but feeling a real connection seems tougher than ever. And a lot of experts think it's because most of us were just never taught the skills for healthy love. Instead, we're just running on these old, dysfunctional patterns we learned growing up, kind of crossing our fingers and hoping it all works out.
So, where do we even start? Well, this first principle, it really challenges what most of us think makes a relationship work. Hint, it is not what you see in the movies.
So many of us think the most important thing is chemistry, that spark. But all the research shows that while chemistry is the spark, respect, that's the foundation. One feels amazing and exciting, but the other is what actually makes you feel safe enough to build a life on.
And let's be clear, respect isn't just about being polite or having good manners. It's about how your partner treats your reality. Do they actually take your feelings seriously, even if they don't agree? Do they treat your boundaries like they're important? That's the real test right there.
Okay, so building on that, we get to recognition. This is that incredible feeling of being truly seen. I mean, really seen. Not just the version of you on social media, not just your happy, easy-to-love side, but all of you. It's what makes love feel like a place where you can finally just exhale and stop performing.
And the final piece of this foundation is influence. This comes from some amazing research by John Gottman. And it's not about control, it's not about winning fights, it's about sharing power. It's the feeling that your partner can actually be moved by you, that your feelings and your perspective matter enough to change their mind. You don't have to scream to be heard.
And this quote just nails it. Without those 3 things, respect, recognition, and influence, what you have doesn't really feel like love. It feels like a constant low-grade anxiety, just sprinkled with a few good memories. These are absolutely non-negotiable.
All right, now let's talk about a habit that can quietly, and I mean quietly, poison even the best relationships, and that's scorekeeping. This is when love stops being about giving freely and starts being about keeping a running tally in your head.
See, the minute you start scorekeeping, the whole feeling of the relationship shifts. It goes from a partnership where you're both giving out of generosity to this cold, business-like transaction. You're not a team anymore. You're just 2 people trying to make sure the spreadsheet balances out. And that changes everything. So much conflict comes from this exact issue. What happens is partners are often contributing a ton, but in different currencies that nobody's talking about. Like one person might be doing all the emotional heavy lifting, while the other is handling the mental load of all the bills and planning. If those different ways of contributing aren't named and valued, you both end up feeling used and totally unappreciated.
And look, it is totally natural to notice when things feel a little lopsided. The danger isn't in noticing it. The danger is when you turn that feeling into a silent, secret list of all the ways you've been wronged. That unspoken resentment is the stuff that builds walls between people.
Which, of course, brings us to fighting. The big idea here is that how you fight is so much more important than if you fight. It's about understanding those invisible scripts we all run on when things get tense. Most of us tend to fall into one of these patterns. You've got the venter, who needs to talk it out and fix it right now. Then there's the hider, who needs to pull away and get some space to think. And the exploder? Well, that's usually what happens when a venter and a hider clash and nobody's needs are getting met. The most important thing to remember is that these aren't character flaws. They're just learned patterns, and we can learn to work with them. And this might be the single most important thing to come out of all the relationship research out there. Healthy, happy couples aren't the ones who never fight. They're the ones who are really, really good at repair, at finding their way back to each other quickly after the fight is done.
Okay, so if repair is the goal, how do we actually do it? Knowing the problem's one thing, but we need tools. So here are 2 incredibly practical tools to help you turn a fight into a collaboration.
First up, the XYZ method. Honestly, this simple little formula is a game changer. So instead of "you're always making a mess," you say, "when you do X, like leave crumbs on the counter right after I've cleaned, I feel Y, frustrated, like my work isn't seen. How can we get to Z, a solution that works for both of us?" It just instantly takes the blame out of it and invites your partner to solve the problem with you.
The second tool is called the 30-day agreement. This is so smart. After a big fight, trust isn't rebuilt with some grand sweeping promise. It's rebuilt with small, consistent, repeatable actions.
This tool makes change feel manageable. You just agree on a couple of realistic things for 30 days, and then you check in. It takes the pressure off and lets you build momentum, one good day at a time. So, as we start to pull all of this together, a whole new picture of what a successful relationship looks like begins to emerge. The goal isn't this fantasy of a life with no conflict. It's something so much more real and so much stronger.
So I want you to ask yourself this question, and be really honest. After a fight, once the dust has settled, do you feel closer to your partner, or do you just feel more alone? The answer to that question tells you pretty much everything you need to know. And that right there is the heart of it all. The goal isn't to find some perfect person that you never disagree with. The goal is to find an imperfect person who is willing to do the hard work of coming back to you. Someone who chooses to stay and fix things even after the messiest arguments. That's what real love looks like.